right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Brazil Interlagos, round two of the 1991 NAGP Formula Championship. Kevin Kirkbride filling in for Al Merriman, joined by the incomparable Brad Maris. Brad, how are you doing this evening?
The incomparable, inestimable. I need Don King here or something, man. I'm okay, Kevin. Very good to have you on the main channel, controlling the pictures tonight. I've had some technical issues, so I'm a little all over the place, but it's great to be here. Interlagos can be a great track, great test for these guys tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think so. After round one at Laguna, we saw quite a few incidents, some shaky driving around the field. I think Interlagos will have its tests, but it could be a little bit less of a test than Laguna. Speaking to that, what are you looking for tonight from the drivers after a difficult round one?
Oh, yeah, it was such a tough test last week. The nature of the track itself was very difficult. The nature of off the track was also very difficult, right? Getting into the loose stuff, it was very loose. The first race of the season, we saw a few incidents out there, I think, Kevin, more than we'd like to see, that's for sure. Interlagos, much easier track to be consistent at. Doesn't mean there isn't trouble, like you say. There's going to be plenty of it. But, tonight I think the quality of the racing should be at a much higher level. And actually, honestly, I'm pretty optimistic with the season going forward in this car. I think we're in for some great events.
Yeah, I think the guys are going to figure out the setups, the nature of the car a little bit. But speaking about tonight, let's see. So 47 laps at Interlagos. The drivers are just finishing up the practice session, moving over to quali in a bit. Going to have some temperatures right around 30 Celsius, some winds right around 10 kilometers an hour, varying degree of intake. We'll see where that's at. Should be moving over to quali soon. I've got a few, some success ballast and some penalty ballast tonight. What are we looking for there, Brad?
That is a very good question. I have no idea because I completely forget, and my preparation time tonight has been limited.
I got you covered. I think I can remember the top three from last week. So, Phil Samard came in last week, took the victory, took the pole. He's going to be carrying 20 kilograms. Aaron Parsons, second on the podium. He's going to have 15 tonight. Taylor will have 10. Moses and Monahan are picking up 20 penalty ballast due to some incidents last week. Any idea what Wade's going to do to these cars as the guys line up on the grid for the race tonight?
It's going to be impactful. Now, I thought you were asking me just about the penalties. I did have last week's race information. Actually, I'm looking forward to touching on that race a little bit because it was pretty intriguing despite some of the problems we had out there. Pretty fun race. So what was your question?
Well, just wondering, as these guys are going out for quali, they're already dealing with a car that's a little bit difficult on balance. As they add that success ballast and that penalty ballast, any idea what we'll be looking for tonight as far as some difference in lap times compared to driving without it?
Word around the paddock is that it's going to be pretty darn impactful, actually. I tell you, the performance in these cars dramatically increases as the fuel wears off. I mean, lap to lap, you notice the thing getting faster and faster, performing better and better. So it's a bit of an open question still, but 20 kilograms, no question, is going to affect the balance of the car. So, yeah, 3 guys with that winner's weight ballast tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see how they perform. It's like, well, I know that they're in their qualifying session now, so we want to get to that. But, it's gonna make for some interesting viewing.
Yeah, speaking of getting to that, we're going to go on board. John Houston's leading out the pack to start the first flyer. John and Aaron, his teammate T-Brock Dambam, they were the fortunate team coming out of last week. Didn't qualify very well. Ended up leading the championship coming out of round one due to some attrition from other guys and just quality races from themselves. So John's going to take it through the Senna S's down into turn 4. This turn 4, from what I've been checking in practice, is catching a lot of guys out. The entry's a little bit difficult to get it and hard to get back on the throttle through there.
Yeah, part of the reason for that is just the nature of the Jordan. You have to be careful with it on the shifts. So I don't know how many guys are running the clutch in here. Whoa, that was close. But,
That was.
But for any of the guys, yeah, for any guys that do, it actually could be beneficial because otherwise it does not care for, you know, that decelerating shifting point under braking. So the engine gets bound up a little bit. The rear end likes to come around. So yeah, that's why you're seeing the difficulty into that turn, and then some others as well. Not unlike really this last turn here. And see if John goes, he's goes all the way down to second. Some guy's going to be in third through there. A little squiggly coming off. You want to, of course, really get the best possible jump you can off there. This is a very long straightaway, especially relative to the track. It takes up almost a third of the track, right?
Takes up quite a bit of it, that's for sure. You got to strike a good balance between some top speed here and getting through that middle sector as quick as possible. The car, like you said, does have some sort of performance issues in finding that balance. So it'll be interesting to see who's figured it out. Looks like quite a few guys have done upwards of 200 laps. Some others not so much, but I think there's some focus for this round after some of the shenanigans last week.
Yeah, surely. And that is opening race jitters more than anything else.
Yep.
So these guys will, yeah, it'll get cleaner and cleaner as the season goes on here.
Going on board with Samard here as he takes it for another flyer.
Yeah, and really those times coming in looking pretty good. I think you have to say, looking at some of Samard's practice times, they were pretty stout given that 20 kilograms of success ballast. I think if you ask Samard, he'll be the first to say he got a little bit of luck that last win out there at Laguna Seca in that first round. So I think he doesn't want to depend so much on luck this time. Rather, he has put in the laps around here. He's ready to go.
Yeah, Samard put it on pole last week, got jumped at the start by Taylor and Moses into turn one. Samard was on the mediums, Taylor Moses on the softs. Samard had his issues, but like you said, he lucked out in the end with some fortunate happenstance from other drivers and ended up on the top step. He's going to bring it across the line here, see if he can improve. Looks like that was the outlap. You are right. Let's go with him for the hot lap, though.
S's there, first sector coming up here before too long. We'll get a sense of where he's running in relation to Chris Moses, the early pole setter. So looking pretty good here through the first sector for Philly.
Yeah, so far so good. Lechmanski, I see, is already 5/10 up through 2 sectors. Let's jump over to him real quick as he finishes his lap. We'll get back to Samard.
Yeah, Kevin putting in some very nice times also in the week of practice. Was a pretty impressive showing there at Laguna, actually, it has to be said.
Excellent lap from Kevin. 16 flat, going to jump right up to the top, 6/10 ahead of Moses. Samard looks like he fell off in that second sector a little bit, especially compared to Lechmanski. DeGraw only a 10th off through a sector. DeGraw with a nice performance last week, also started on the mediums. Was running in the top 5 most of the race. Had a few mistakes like most guys, but a very good debut on Monday night from Mark DeGraw.
I was impressed. I have to tell you, I didn't see it coming. We have not seen a lot of Mark DeGraw here, with the exception of some of last season there in the GT class, and opened my eyes. He is obviously very quick in this open wheel Monday night category.
Absolutely. Mark's going to take it to the line here. With only 2/10 off through the second sector. This should put him up into P2. Looked pretty clean through the final few corners. 4/10 off of Kevin, but that'll put him on the front row for now. Houston and Jake even through a sector. We'll jump on board with John Houston. A little ragged there. I think he's going to back out. He's going to keep it going.
John Houston started off that Laguna Seca race a little slow, it has to be said. Recovered nicely there. I think picked up 6th place by the end and helped secure his team right now in that lead for that team classification, he and Aaron Parsons. So really nice drive back up through the field there for John Houston last week.
Yeah, they didn't perform overly well in quali, but they did get the job done in the race. Kept it on track, kept it fairly clean, didn't make too many mistakes, avoided the traffic, and they lead the team championship. Because of it, John 16-1. That's going to be his best lap. Little ragged. He's got some time in there still. A few of those corners weren't the cleanest, so I'm expecting him to improve quite a bit. Looks like Jake Feemster jumped up to 7th. Jake, after pretty good finish the last season, I'm sure was fairly upset last week. Only qualified 21st. Did finish in the points, but only qualified 21st, and he's put in a lot of effort this week to get that right.
Yeah, it wasn't a great race by Jake. So, I mean, there's just nothing for it. You know, you can call it underperforming or, you know, lack of preparation, whatever. But, yeah, I'm sure he'll rebound.
Lechmanski's a 10th up on his time. Looks like he's slowing down a little bit now, though. He had a little bit of a bobble. He's going to back out of that one. Maybe let the tires cool down. These qualifying tires, Brad, did you get any laps on them?
Not so much, not at this track. They should hold up though for a couple time laps. These guys can probably get 3 laps on these tires. Okay.
Yeah, it seems like most of the guys are getting a couple on them if they choose to, if they're willing to put in a little extra fuel. Looks like Kevin slowed down a little bit just to set the car up for Flyer here. So far we got Lechmanski P1, Houston P2, Parsons P3. Parsons the only driver out of those 3 carrying weight. He's carrying 15 kilos of success ballast.
Yeah, you know, it looks like we can expect to see race times even in the 17s, mid 17s, maybe even lows. So 16 flat. I don't know if they can go too much lower, but I gotta say I'm expecting to see a few high 15s anyway.
Yeah, I think a high 15s expected here in quali. I did notice a few of the guys on the mediums with some long runs getting down into the 17s, and I'm assuming some guys in the softs will be able to do some maybe high 16s during the race, but we'll just have to see how that plays out.
Yeah, sure. Speaking of playing out, I mean that's a whole nother ball of wax there once we get into the race and seeing what kind of strategies they're going to come up with, because they are going to have options here, like last week of running deep halfway through the race or taking 2 stops.
On board with Moses here. Moses only 2/10 off through the first sector. Carrying 20 kilos. He had a disappointing round 1 along with Ian Jolicoeur. Both guys expected to do big things this season. Jolicoeur jumped the start, had a drive-through, then got into some an unfortunate incident where Moses caught up some lap traffic, was trying to get back onto the circuit after an off, and took himself and Jolicoeur out. Both guys finishing with no points and a disappointing start. So Moses certainly looking to rebound in big fashion tonight. Moses jumps up to P5, a little bit of an improvement there.
Yeah, not such a bad lap of those 20 kilos. It's rare for Moses to have weight on his car that isn't attributable to winner's weight ballast. This is a rare penalty for Chris Moses. So.
Kevin Miller coming to the line here, looking to improve from a 16.6, takes it to 16.2. He's going to slot into P4 just ahead of Parsons, Moses, and Big Al. Big Al's on track, only 2/10 off through a sector.
Yeah, we'll be having to watch him very closely tonight, I think. After all, he is, you know, he's jumped into that Ian Jolicoeur ride here and has forsaken the broadcast, leaving us to it.
A little bit loose there, but collects it nicely. That might not be too much time. Al found out pretty early. He's had plenty of time to prepare for this race, and with Samard as a teammate, Jolicoeur, I'm sure he's got a decent setup, I would assume. 16.48, no improvement from Al. Houston is even through 2 sectors. He's coming to the line. .15.8, great lap by John Houston. That's going to be provisional pole just ahead of Samard, who has jumped up as we were watching other people. Ryan Robbins on track in P4 right now. He's only a tenth off through 2 sectors. This is quite a surprise. Ryan Robbins had some good drives last season, but nothing to be overly excited about. But so far this season, I think P9 last week in quali, a top 10 finish, and this could be an awesome lap here halfway through quali. Messed up something late, 16.3 there for Robbins.
Yeah, Ryan Robbins also showing some pretty decent pace out there at Laguna last week. Finished in that 8th spot, was running higher than that at points in that race.
So Brad, after last week, round 1, plenty of guys having issues, maybe with car setup, just the nature of the track. What sort of changes are you looking for guys to make this week to add to their consistency and just racecraft? What sort of things would you be working on?
Well, setup's going to be pretty key. Okay, so not getting caught out by the changing nature of the car. Okay, through the performance stint. Like I say, the lower the fuel gets, the better the car is going to run. But to make sure you don't get caught out by it changing too drastically, too dramatically, the guys are going to have a lot more information on the tires, how the tires are going to last and react underneath them, and then just cleaning up the consistency in general, getting more time in the car. These are very tricky beasts on throttle, right?
Yes, they are.
Very careful, particularly with some of the low-speed corners around here. So, yeah, I think, like I say, week after week, we should be getting a little more, crisp each week.
Winner last week, Philippe Samar, 20 kilos, coming to the line 3/10 up through 2 sectors. This is looking to be a very fast lap. Let's see how quick it is. 15.5. That's going to eclipse John Houston by 3/10. Put it on provisional pole. Very, very nice lap by Philippe. I think that's about the fastest lap we saw on the server leading in. So I'm sure some of these guys have a little bit of time in their pocket, but be interesting to see if they have that much.
Well, it's an impressive lap. Now, Philippe definitely has the speed. He did not have a bad race last week. Just started off that race a little inconsistent. Got caught out, started on the mediums. Everybody around him started on the softs, got swamped a little bit. I think was, a little perturbed, but got his car back underneath him, drove a great race from that point. So should be good here tonight. But that is a very impressive time, that 20 kilogram.
Very impressive time. Ryan Robbins only 5/10 off of that time. He is coming around the penultimate corner, going to bring it down the straight.
Yeah, pretty impressive time, but boy, sitting P4 right now, some 6/10 off. He improves a little bit.
Sure does. Moses looking to move up a little bit. He's 6/10 off from his previous time, 3/10 off. So if he can get this last corner right, he may jump up just a little bit. And he does. P3 on the grid at the moment, just behind Houston and Samard. You know what I'm noticing, Brad? We don't have Matt Taylor yet. Any word on the whereabouts of Matt Taylor? I haven't noticed anything.
No, that is.
That's a little bit of surprise. Matt Taylor lives in the South. Does he live in Georgia?
Yeah, maybe.
I know Irma's kind of rolling through the South right now. People are losing power, so we may not be possible for Taylor to get a hold of us. Hopefully it's nothing serious. He's able to get to us and race, but if not, hopefully he's safe from the storm. Clearly, it's just speculating, but it's unlike Matt Taylor to not show up for quali on a race night.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. I had neglected to see that, and that would be quite a blow for this team PMR, who frankly has dominated this Monday league here the last couple seasons. I mean, like, dominated. That would put them well and truly behind the 8 ball to start here.
Yeah, after Taylor last week, he assumed the lead after Moses had his issue. Assumed the lead. He had a little bit of a pit mishap with the fuel calculations. Decided to pull out of the pits, drive through, lost a ton of time, fought back for P3 to salvage some points for the team. But with some tight competition, they need every point they can get en route to, I think, about a 5th championship here on Monday night in Assetto Corsa. So hopefully we can get Matt in here. And just as I say that, it looks like he has joined the server.
Wow. Now I'm actually leave the server here real fast, Kevin. I can't seem to find Al Marimon here on my broadcast app. Let's see if I can reset that.
Moses looking good again.
Okay
Go ahead.
Yeah, okay. You seem okay on your broadcast app, okay.
Yep. Moses is going to improve a little bit, but not enough to gain a spot. Lechmanski jumped up in the meantime up to P2. A very nice lap, just a 10th and a half off Samard. So there's hope for one of these guys to come up and take a spot away from Philippe.
Okay. Well, I guess Al just doesn't exist for me then. Well, could be worse. Okay, who you on here? Houston?
Yeah, we're on Houston. Looks like he's going to be off the pace this lap, but could have enough fuel to make it around one more and loops it there.
I have to say though, by and large, it actually has been a pretty nice run here in qualifying for John Houston. Was not looking that great last week, but has righted the ship, I would say.
I think it's safe to say a few teams got a little late start on the car, getting their setup dialed in, and with last week and this week, they've had quite a bit more time. We're going to start seeing some true pace and performance from some of these drivers. Aaron Parsons even through the first sector.
Yeah, now we're seeing some of those times creep into the 115s, but is it going to be enough? Lechmanski's close, only about 5 minutes left to go here in this qualifying session, so things getting tight out there. And time running out to catch Philippe.
Yeah, about 4 minutes left. Aaron, about 0.6 off, so it looks like he had some trouble there in the middle. Still not a bad lap, carrying 20 kilos. He's going to go ahead and duck out, take it back, and try to get it out for one more shot. Mars sitting in the pits. Lechmanski sitting in the pits. Houston going to go ahead and start a new flyer. Let's go on board with John Houston. And put the curse on him there. He's off track.
Yeah, these guys now have set reasonable times. Most of the guys, at least toward the front, have set pretty reasonable times. Now they're trying to get some extra out of it. So it could be that they're even making some wing adjustments, some setup adjustments, trying to find that last little bit.
Put on board down there with David Rowley. David Rowley only 0.4 off through the first sector. He's got some room to improve, and noted on the forum that he's looking to put a little bit more effort than he did last season. Last week looked like he did do that, and then got caught up in a little schmozzle at the corkscrew. So Dave Rowley coming to the line. Not going to be an improvement for Dave.
Unfortunately, it was only 2 laps worth of effort there for David Rowley last week. So.
Ryan Robbins getting his likely last stab at it, even through a sector. Very good showing from Ryan so far after a good P10 start last week.
Yeah, pretty impressive, and I think what impressed me maybe more than anything was just the consistency. Ryan Robbins did not try to do anything that he was uncomfortable with. Kept the car on track, drove it to a solid 8th place, stayed out of trouble. I mean, you know, that's the kind of thing that earns you big championship points.
Very nice lap. Ryan goes into the 15s, 15.8.
Wow.
3 exactly, takes it to P3, and he's got enough fuel to go one more time.
Looks like it's going to be his last lap, so hopefully that one smacked him right in the forehead, and he can even improve on that. Last lap's coming for a lot of these guys.
Yeah, it looks like Samard's called it quits. He's going to stay in the pits. Lechmanski is out on track
here. Yeah, these guys will not give up, and I believe me, just about every single guy in the top 10 right now knows that they've given up that 10th or 2 here or there. If I can only just, you know, get that perfect lap.
So Robin's going to take it back to the pits. With no time left to get back out. Lechmanski will have enough time to cross the line and take one more stab at it.
Houston's still out there. Parsons still out there. Mark DeGraw, he showed good pace last week. He might still have something on his last lap.
Jump over to Moses real fast. We'll kick it back to Lechmanski in a moment. Moses only 2/10 off. 4/10 off from Samard on the leaderboard right now, and it's going to be nip and tuck to get this perfect for Chris Moses.
Yeah, was Philippe really doing a lot of his damage there in the last sector? Now, you wouldn't think that with that 20 kilos of weight that he would be particularly strong there, but he obviously has figured something out with the setup to get through that long straightaway. See if Moses can come up with some type of answer for his 20 kilos on board.
A little bit of improvement there from Moses. Houston going to bring it to the line now. Houston only 2/10 off.
Oh, Lechmanski got him.
Awesome lap by Kevin Lechmanski. Sorry we missed that. 15, got him by 0.02 of a second.
Wow.
What is it about Interlagos? I think the gap last season at Interlagos was about 0.03 of a second between P1 and P2 on the grid.
Wow. Well, it's a short track. Those times are going to be compressed and closer together.
Awesome lap by Kevin Lechmanski.
Wow. Absolutely right.
So we've got about 6 minutes till we go green. The drivers have a drivers meeting. This flips over, we'll see what kind of weather we have, but let's see. Driver standings. Put those up for everyone. Philippe Samard took the pole last week, took the win. 26 points. Aaron Parsons 6 back with 20, and then Taylor in P3 with 18. Put up the team standings there. T-Brock Dambam, 32 points. French Connection, that's Jolicoeur and Samard. Samard collecting all those points for the team with 26. And then PMR, Taylor collecting all those points with 18. Speaking of Taylor, did he end up getting a lap in? He did. 118.3 on the softs. He's going to be starting from P21. It'll be interesting to see what happened with Matt tonight.
Very interesting. Yeah, well, that we got caught up in the excitement there over those top spots, and Taylor just didn't happen to be one of them. And boy, Kevin, is that connection going to hold up for him? Yeah.
Well, he's got a connection, so he's got a little bit of a heartbeat, but lack of practice maybe leading in, and only 4 laps, just couldn't get it in. He might have just decided to do some practice laps for the race stint and not put a quali lap in, because that time looks Matt Taylor. I would expect if he had done something on the quali tire, he would have been a little bit higher than an 18.3. So he might have had alternate plans.
Yeah, that's a possibility. Yeah, going back to the points, I was taking a look at those myself. And that T-Brock Dambam total of 32 coming out of Laguna, that kind of stands out to me. So it was Philippe. Yeah, he took home a lot of points in that race, but teammate Ian Jolicoeur went out. That PMR's Chris Moses went out. So yeah, just single points collected by those drivers. Now, there's quite a few points collected by Philippe there with that French Connection team. So they are sitting second, but T-Brock Dambam, he came out of that race much stronger, I think, than we could have predicted, given the start of the race and where they had qualified at, and the nature of the race. Aaron Parsons continued to pick up speed over the course of that race, picking up position after position, running all the way up to second. So very impressive run for him, and a strong points position for them early.
Yeah, very nice from T-Brock Dambam. Like I said, they didn't start very well in quali, but they ran a smart race. They kept it clean. They avoided the traffic, and they come away with the championship lead after round 1. Very early, but never bad to be leading the standings. Looking at the grid at the moment, a couple guys last week that ran mediums, Kevin Lechmanski, Philippe Samard starting 1-2. Mediums to softs. Any big difference in lap times and tire wear as far as you know, Brad?
Yeah, relatively substantial. It's going to vary a bit track to track. You're going to get quite a decent performance advantage out of the softs. Let's call it half a second, 7/10 thereabouts. They are going to run off a bit faster in general. Guys we see on the softs are going to be 2-stopping. In general, guys we see on the mediums will be 1-stopping. But the softs, on some tracks, this could be one of them, Kevin. I think could possibly go to a half race distance. So we're going to have to watch it, and we're really not going to know the performance of the tires till these guys get more races on them, frankly. And it's going to be a bit of a mystery as we see these stops unfold in these early races. We'll get a better sense of what's going on here toward, after we get a couple races under our belt in terms of the types of strategies these guys can employ.
Absolutely. Let's take a moment. We got about 2.5 minutes till green flag. Might as well run down the grid. So P1, Kevin Lechmanski, that may be his first NAGP pole. Excellent performance, 15.5, just 200 thousandths faster than Philippe Samard in P2. Kevin Miller P3. Very good performance from Kevin Miller. Houston P4, and then Ryan Robbins, another great show, P5.
Yeah, Chris Moses with that 20 kilograms of weight slotted into 6. Rival Aaron Parsons going to start right beside him with 15 kilos in 7th. Jesse Olsen put in a very fine time up to 8th. Al Merrimon, all the eyeballs on Al tonight, starting 9th. And Mark DeGrasse showed that impressive pace last week. Going to start 10th here tonight.
Yep, Jake Feemster, pretty bad quali last week, P11 this week. Excellent regrouping. Dave Rowley talked about him a little bit, P12. Nice showing there. Peter Burke, P13, Joel Ekman, P14, Chuck Carter, P15.
Yeah, your points graphic might still be up on screen, Kevin. Just
Okay.
FYI.
Excellent. Thank
In
you.
the meantime, John Wathen's going to start 16th. Gregory Myers going to take 17th. David Zahn starts 18th. Brian Story starts 19th. Gup Douglas had a nice run toward the top 10 last week. Starts 20th here tonight.
About a minute to go. Matt Taylor, P21. Tom Kraskell, P22. Lou Mascarelli, P23. So Lechmanski, P1, got to be feeling some nerves up there with a little bit of pressure on his shoulders now.
I think so, and this is always, you know, kind of the danger zone for guys that aren't terribly used to leading these types of fields, and it's always a question mark to see, you know, what that pressure is going to do to those drivers. Kevin Lechmanski, I think he'll be just fine. Main thing is just stay out of trouble and try to focus on your own line.
Well, it should be a good one. We have 47 laps. Looks like the weather's right at about 29 degrees Celsius. I don't think that's going to be a thing to worry about for the soft tires. Go ahead and jump back to the pits here, and we'll join the action.
This is going to be a good one.
Oh, God. It wouldn't. We'll get back to it. It wouldn't go back to the pits. I think I clicked the wrong button.
Well, it looks like Kevin has managed to squirt out in front. Looks like Philippe Simard has slotted second. So as we wait for, but it is Simard now looking to take a turn into turn 4. Not going to happen this time. So, Kevin Lechmanski out front, setting the pace.
Yep, we are live now. Sorry about that, folks.
It is Kevin Miller in second. How'd Kevin Miller get in second? Oh, where'd Simard? Oh boy, something happened. We missed something.
We sure did. We missed the whole start of the race. Yeah, so Simard down to P17. Something definitely happened. Miller P2, Houston P3, Moses P4. Looks like Ryan Robbins dropped down the grid as well from a good start. And anybody else drop? Marmon dropped down to P13, but riding along with Lechmanski up front as we complete the first lap.
Yeah, Traskell terribly off the pace with quite a bit of damage here, so he's looking to limp back to the pits. Oh, Parsons is up there. My timing and scoring is screwed up, so forget I said anything.
No, I have Parsons down in P2, oh yeah, he is in P5. Okay, mine was messed up for a moment as well. So Miller, we have P1 on the soft tire. Lechmanski with the alternate strategy on the mediums, probably not fighting him too hard to give up that position.
Wow, so we can only assume that Philippe must have run into some problem. Maybe he lost it on his own or something and collected a few other guys, but nonetheless, your race winner from last week now in dire straits and into the pits.
He is into the pits as well as Matt Taylor.
Boy, it's Kevin Miller now who has managed to jump into the lead, getting past Kevin Lechmanski somehow.
Yeah, Miller took over the spot from Lechmanski leading into turn 1. Got a good run on him down the straight. Took it into turn 1 at the start of lap 2. And with Lechmanski on the medium tire, may not have fought him too much into there. Moses already pressuring Lechmanski as well. Moses on the soft tire.
Ah, sorry. So you may have caught that anyway. Okay. I
Yep. Moses gets by Lechmanski and is going to have Miller in front of him. Both of those drivers not getting too much of a fight from Lechmanski.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that is coming down right now to that medium tire. So Kevin Lechmanski, perhaps with a bit of strategy in his head, looking to go half the distance of this race.
Dave Rowley and Mark DeGraw going into turn 4. Looks like Mark DeGraw is going to loop it, start dropping. Rowley with a great run to start up into P7.
Boy, boy, and you're absolutely right. What a jump up the order here if you're David Rowley right now. Whoa,
Moses is off. So Moses up to P2, now down to P7, losing more spots as well as Wathan maybe getting by. Oh my.
Oh no. Disaster. Boy, that is just where you're going to get caught out on these beasts, is that on throttle, especially off the slower corner.
Moses with the front wing damage. He may have had an issue before that off. He had already dropped a couple positions and then just lost it under throttle. See if Moses takes it into the pits. Moses will stay out. As you say, the Titans, PMR, Moses in P12, Taylor down in 22nd position. Still a lot of time left. We're only 4 laps in. They can regroup, bring it back up the field, get some points, but this is very unlike precision motor racing.
Yeah, pretty shocking, it has to be said. I mean, Kevin Miller leading this event, Kevin Lechmanski up there in second. This is pretty rarefied air. David Rowley in fourth. Look, I can't remember the last time I said David Rowley was in fourth. I don't think I've ever said it.
Well, he is. David Rowley is in fourth. He's a legitimate fourth, just behind Parsons and sandwiched with Parsons' teammate John Houston. Wathan with a great run in P6. He's got a line of cars just behind him. Al Merriman, Jake Feemster, Ryan Robbins, Greg Myers. Jump on board with Wathan and look back as he leads about 7 cars onto the front straight.
Yeah, still not getting Al Merriman to show up on my broadcast app here, so it could have some confusion from time. Oh, Philippe Samard out.
Shocking blow for the race winner from round 1 with issues likely in the first few corners somewhere. I jumped back in by the end of the first lap and he had already dropped quite a few positions. Merriman is going to jump up to P6. I know you can't see him, but he got by Wathan. Feemster gets by Wathan as well. Wathan may have a little bit of a front wing damage here. It may be okay. But he seems to have fallen off the pace a little bit.
Yeah, nonetheless, though, holding a very nice 7th position at the moment.
Very nice. Lechmanski in P2, under pressure from Aaron Parsons on the softs. Go on board there.
Well, you know, he is under pressure, but you see Aaron Parsons set up for that pass. But he has certainly just now gotten passed by Aaron Parsons on the softs. Now, if Aaron Parsons is making 2 stops, really, Kevin Lechmanski is not in such a terrible position at this moment.
Now, Kevin Lechmanski in practice was showing some very good pace on those mediums at the end of stint. So he's just running his race right now, keeping it nice and calm. And, you know, like a lot of these guys, he hasn't put the car off track. So he's doing the right thing.
Yeah, he sure is.
Oh,
boy, so
big contact with Greg Myers and I'm trying to get the rest of them. It's Peter Burke down in turn 4, Ryan Robbins. Jesse Olsen's going to squeak by there. Moses looks like he may have been involved again. About 4 cars getting into it there at turn 4.
Wow, so maybe the jitter's not quite out of everybody's system yet, and PMR's Matt Taylor now running a dead last here in 20th. So
Taylor running dead last. Taylor has pit, and based on what we're seeing from these other guys, Taylor might have a chance to jump some positions with all the carnage happening in front of him.
Yeah, that's a good point. But a stunning turn of events. Look, Al has prepared very well for this race, but frankly, not a guy you would necessarily have pegged to be running near the, the top 5 position. Right now it's T-Brock Dam Bam. Really in the catbird seat to pick up massive points on their rivals. Aaron Parsons running second and almost making time on front runner Kevin Miller at the moment. And of course John Houston in 5th. Nice team effort by those guys early.
Look at Dave Rowley here for a bit in a excellent P4 position. Rally on the soft tires. Last lap 18.3. That's a very nice time. That's not a fluke. So Dave Rowley's put in some work. He's keeping the car clean and it's in line for maybe an all-time Monday performance. Very early though, 8 laps in, but excellent start from Dave Rowley.
Well, right now he's setting pace on John Houston. So John Houston, no stranger to winning races around here this Monday league. So you're absolutely right. That is legitimate pace here if you're David Rowley. Great to see.
Very good to see. Back up front with Kevin Miller for a moment, setting the fast lap at a 17.9. Parsons with a 18 flat. About 5 seconds back.
Oh boy, big lurch by Mark DeGraw. Was watching him close in on Peter Burke, but gets it a bit wrong at turn 4.
David Rowley starting to close the gap to Kevin Lechmanski in front.
Yeah, I have to assume Moses did come in for an early stop. That won't necessarily put him out of line for a 2-stop strategy, so there is some wiggle room with the amount of fuel that you can take. So if you can make the softs last for a good distance here, you can still be in line for just 2 stops.
I think the cars are doing about 5.5 liters per lap, and they hold about 210 liters if I'm not mistaken. So you can get quite a few laps out of them. I'm just not sure if the pace and the consistency is there to fill it up and go very deep. But if anybody can do it, I think Chris Moses is the guy that can.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's going to be about the type of tire wear you get, of course. Oh, yeah, Moses, I'm sorry, neglected to see, he did switch on to the medium.
He is on the mediums,
he's
yeah.
going to plan on, and try to run this one as deep as he possibly can. Yeah, good call, I think. Nothing to lose at this point. Yeah, Kevin Miller now starting to pull away a bit from second place Aaron Parsons, and that is some pretty nice pace. So Kevin Miller has taken I think maybe 1 win before in this Monday series, but nothing consistent.
Peter Burke, Wathan, and DeGraw all heading to turn 1 within feet of each other. Heading through the Senna S's. Peter Burke just getting by Wathan, and DeGraw hanging out just behind.
It was DeGraw that made the mistake into here last lap, gave up some time, and managed it quite well that time. Whoa!
Mark DeGraw avoiding the lurch from John Wathan there, getting by, and he's quickly onto Burke's bumper as well, or rear wing.
Yeah, I think he very clearly has pace on Peter Burke. We didn't. Oh, gonna.
Oh!
Pretty aggressively slammed the door there, did Peter Burke, but didn't see if there's contact. It's sure close.
Is it spitting rain out there? These guys seem to be struggling for grip a little bit compared to what we saw in some practice. Guys seem to be running pretty good stints, but maybe the race night nerves and fighting in traffic, adding that added element.
That's exactly what it is. We see DeGraw go for that pass again. I think DeGraw carrying a little bit less downforce than John Wathen. That pass looked pretty easy, but you're absolutely right. It's these cars get very light on those extremely low traction events, and it's one thing to be out there and practice that, okay? When you're running by yourself and all the concentration's high, you don't have anybody trying to fight you out of your position, and things change quickly when that pressure is on. And I tell you, there's not a lot of grip on offer on these very low speed traction event for these Jordan.
Dave Rowley now within about a half second of Kevin Lechmanski, slowly working that gap down as we going to be approaching pit window for soft tire runners at about lap 15, 16. So Dave Rowley still running in very elite territory up there in P4.
He sure is, and John Houston has had a problem. So that was the driver just behind David Rowley, and now John Houston is going to drop back to 8th with a problem in the second sector.
Check out John Houston's car. Wings look good. May have just been a little bit of an off, collected it, and not seeing any damage. Nonetheless, he's going to join that Peter Burke, Mark DeGraw, Wathen train 7, 8, 9, 10, and I'm sure he's going to be able to get it collected and settle in.
Boy, it's just so difficult. These are pretty fearsome beasts. I talked last week about this car, and it gives you a lot of rope with which to hang yourself. So yeah. It seems like there's all sorts of grip on offer right up until the point that there isn't.
And it's not just the on throttle aggressiveness. There's something about the downshifting in the finesse of getting that car to downshift and into the corner that can spin you a lot faster than the on throttle can.
Yeah, it does not care to shift too much.
That's going to put Al Merriman up to P5. He's the remaining driver filling in for the French Connections Ian Jola course. He's the remaining driver for that team. P5, he's got Feemster just behind. About a second, and then Burke a little further back, but awesome drive from Al so far. Very clean and just running his own race, and great performance so far.
Yeah, speaking of good performances, we talked about the difficulty of consistency in these cars, but Kevin Miller having no trouble with that at all at the moment. So 5 straight laps there in the high 17s, all within a tenth or two of each other. Kevin Miller really getting on with the program. Maybe Aaron Parsons now finding his way a little bit, holding pace to that first place Kevin Miller, but a very impressive drive at the front at the moment for Kevin.
Let's go on board with Kevin Miller. Check out his laps. As he said, he did 5 17s in a row, then 18.3. It was Aaron Parsons just now dipping into the 17s with the 17.9. So Kevin Miller slowly, steadily building that gap to Aaron.
Yeah, especially with that last lap. His best lap of the race, Kevin Miller, now 17.6. Boy, one thing about it, Kevin Miller is a very fast driver, make no mistake. Challenges for top 5s consistently and repeatedly, but having somebody like Aaron Parsons behind, that's a beast of a different color right there, because this guy is going to come and keep coming until you just you have to beat him off with a stick.
Kevin Miller starting to come up on some lap traffic here. Looks like after an awesome start, Ryan, oh my. Well, that is not what you want to see. Kevin Miller just collected. Kevin, get it back to the pits. Gonna lose
Ryan
quite yeah, I think Ryan was trying to stay to the inside, as you're about to say, Brad, and Kevin just maybe thought he was going to do something different. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he was trying to let him by, and the signals got mixed up and crossed a little bit, and yeah, unfortunate situation, especially now since Kevin Miller will likely have that front aero damage as Aaron Parsons is going to line up the path.
Aaron Parsons tucks it down the inside, keeps it nice and tight, gets the overtake. Miller likely unless he's running a one-stopper on Sauce, with those lap times, I'm assuming he's on a two-stopper. So he's just very close to that pin window, can get in and get that damage and continue this fight as we progress. Very unfortunate for Kevin, though.
Well, you know, if you're Kevin Miller, you have to take a lot of positives away as we head into our first stop for those two-stop guys. I mean, he was holding very good pace, so if you're Kevin Miller right now, you're thinking, okay, well, I'm in this thing. A bit of a hiccup here, but I can recover. Wow, and right now, if you're Kevin Lechmanski in third or David Rowley in fourth, your eyes are lighting up. You're thinking, oh, wait a minute. This has come back to me a little bit now. Absolutely.
Lechmanski's eyes are wide open on that medium compound, that one-stop strategy. He's only got a 5-second gap. This is exactly what he wants. His race is running very well.
Oh, it sure is. Now, his stop, we're assuming his one stop, going to take a while. He's going to have to take more fuel on board. His outlap time's going to be quite a bit slower with all the fuel and the medium tires, but once again, he'll pick up that late stint speed as Marc DeGraw is coming in for his first stop.
So Marc DeGraw coming in from P6. Lechmanski, we have his laps on the screen. He started out in the 19s, some 20s, and he's already dipped down into some low 18s. So as you said, his lap times are improving it quite a bit. DeGraw going to jump in, get passed by quite a few people. Let's keep an eye on Miller and Parsons, see if they come in this lap or stay out a little bit longer. Miller not losing too much time with that front end damage. About 8/10 so far.
All right, Matt Taylor setting some of the best laps of the race by anybody. He has come in for his his second stop now after an early stop for repair.
Yeah, Taylor with the fastest lap, 17.2, did that a couple laps ago. Miller will come into the pits. Parsons staying out. Rally into the pits. Al coming through in P5. He's likely to jump into the pits as well. He does. Oh, Bill! Whoa! Al hits the inside wall, slides right through pit entry. He might not. Oh, he's parking it.
Oh no!
He is. Yeah, he's parking it at the start finish. That is it. He clipped the inside wall, and it shot him out onto the start finish straight. And he wasn't able to. I don't think he was able to continue around. Either damage or not enough fuel.
Oh no!
Heartbreaker for Al after an awesome run to begin. Kevin Miller coming out of the pits. Going to rejoin in 5th position. Olsen and all this up to P6. He's on a soft tire, but he is not pit yet, so talked to him before the race. He said he may have something interesting working, so he may be trying for a longer soft stint than most. We'll see if he comes in soon. Parsons is into the pits from P1.
Now Lechmanski staying out for another lap at least.
Keep an eye on Miller as he rolls through and Parsons exits. We'll head back to that in a moment. Dave Rowley, he's pit. He's rejoined in 7th. David Zahn on the mediums. His car is just beat up, and he's running around in P8 with mediums. But nice top 10 showing there for David Zahn. So Parsons is going to exit. Miller just coming through the Senna S's now. There is quite a bit larger gap. Parsons going to come out about 6 seconds ahead of Miller. So Miller either took some extra fuel or could have had some traffic issues on the way out. Nonetheless, that's going to give Kevin Lechmanski the lead. 27 seconds over Aaron. Wathen on the medium, sitting in third position at the moment. Car looks a little bit bent up on the front, but excellent run so far from John.
Yeah, John Wathen's lap times are not, the kind of lap times you'd want to be turning to make some type of off strategy effort work really well. But yeah, I think all in all, you have to say, I think these one-stoppers could be picking up some spots here tonight, though.
Yeah, looking at those lap times, like you said, the extreme pace isn't there, but what I don't see are any very, off the mark laps that are 3, 4, 5 seconds off of his normal pace. So he's been consistently hitting his marks lap after lap, which a lot of these guys have not been doing. There's a lot to be said for that.
Yeah, we'll have to see. It's early going yet,
it
but
is.
I'm already thinking Kevin Lechmanski could be in pretty good shape here.
Yeah. Parsons, I think, is definitely going to have to pit again. We know Miller is. Olsen is yet to pit. Wathen yet to pit. Rowley is pit. So Lechmanski put his lap times on screen. He's just dipped into the 17s. He's got a 17.6 last lap, and probably looking to pit around lap 23, 24. We'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah, and if you're Kevin Lechmanski right now, it's important the performance of the car's really coming to you. You're starting to light it up. You turned a hell of a lap that last lap, but you still have to kind of drive within yourself here. You still want to drive to a particular pace, not get overexcited. It really is to make these off strategy deals work. You do have to really drive pretty controlled. So we'll see if he holds his pace here.
Yeah, Kevin Miller coming up on John Wathen now. These guys clearly on different strategies. Interesting to see how much of a fight Wathen gives Miller.
Boy, such a tough break for Al. Just, he probably did not practice that pit entry a whole bunch either. I don't know that really a lot of these guys did, but I mean, his job was to go out there and drive it out on track, right?
Right.
Not to come into the pits. So it just got a little, oh my God.
Yeah.
My first thought was, oh, I'm so glad we caught that accident on camera, but not when it puts him out of the race. That's horrible. I thought he bounced off the wall a little bit, got in the pit lane, was going to be able to get serviced, but
no, just slid right through and likely either busted the suspension, the engine, or didn't have the fuel to make it back around. My dog joining in on the broadcast a little bit. Sorry about that, folks. Somebody must have irritated her.
So lap 21 of 47. It's not going to be too much longer here before we see the one-stoppers complete their pit stops. It's Miller now lining up that pass on third place, currently John Wathen.
Yeah, Wathen's last lap was an 18.6, so he's starting to move a little bit quicker on those mediums, made it a little bit tougher for Kevin Miller to close that gap and get by with a fuller tank of fuel at the moment. Miller nonetheless gets by to P3.
Yeah, by far John Wathen's fastest lap of the race. So.
Jesse Olsen's still out there on those softs. He is not pit yet, so Olsen's finding a way to get those softs to work. I recall last week at Laguna, he ran a one-stopper, softs one stint, mediums on another. Must have used it as a tire testing session as well as a race, but he's found a way to get these softs to last quite a bit longer than some of these guys, or willing to go longer than some of these guys.
Well, I tell you, this is a relatively competitive league. I mean, we want to have fun. We take all comers as long as guys are pretty safe, consistent. But all these guys are using this as a test session. Believe me, they're looking around and seeing what's happening from race to race, and that's exactly what I was talking about. The more information these guys get as the races go on, these strategies are going to become a little bit more defined. But for now, you know, Lechmanski and some of these other guys, they're the ones that took the gamble and are making it work early.
Let's jump down a little bit to Matt Taylor and Moses. Spoke of their issues early on. Matt Taylor now P14. He's got the fastest lap of the race with a 17.2, but he's starting to make some inroads on some of the guys in front of him. His teammate Moses about 10 seconds back. Coming up on Lou Masciarelli here, gets by. Moses and Taylor both in the points with, you know, they got something to work for here after some disastrous opening laps.
Yeah, they are not going to quit. Neither of these guys are going to pull the chute unless the motor is not running. So you can bet they're going to dig as hard as they possibly can. But it's going to be a disappointing night. I mean, if they come back up to the 5th and 6th, it's still going to be a disappointing night. So
yeah. Shout out to Lou Masciarelli though. Last week Laguna finished, I believe, 8 laps down. He's running in P16 right now, only a lap off the pace. So he's upped his game this week, and it's nice to see just as he takes it off and puts it in the wall. Sorry, Lou.
boy, John Houston now has fallen back to 17. I don't think he was on a one stop. He must have had some type of trouble out there that we didn't catch, or did you catch something?
Didn't catch anything from Houston. Going to check back. It looks like he did pit lap 16. He had a 2:17.9. That's likely his pit lap. So one stopper. Had some ragged laps. Lap 10, 125. Lap 11, 130. So he's ran into quite a bit of trouble, and is trying to keep it together here.
Boy. Yeah, he needs to. This is not the. I mean, he does not want to be behind Matt Taylor and Chris Moses with the type of problems they've had.
See, Gup Douglas from P7 just jumped on board with him. He's bringing it into the pits. He's on the soft tire. So Gup Douglas just did 24 laps on the softs, one stopping the softs. So Gup Douglas with a good run so far.
Yeah, a 19 flat with starting with a full fuel load and running those soft tires deep is not such a bad lap time.
Not bad at all. The Jesse Olsen is yet to pit. He's still on those softs. He should be coming in a moment. We'll see where he rejoins with the other traffic.
It's Kevin Lechmanski now. That's the stop we're really going to have to keep our eyeballs on here, because it's an important stop if you're him. He may have enough. Well, he's probably not going to hold on to that position, but he wants to keep everything really clean.
And the drivers behind him, Parsons and Miller, exiting their pit stop rotation. Parsons had about a 6-second lead. Looks like it's grown slightly to just around 8 seconds. But yeah, we're on board with Lechmanski now, as he's likely going to enter the pits, you would think, pretty soon. If not, he's going very deep on these medium tires.
Yeah, his lap times are still holding, so I mean, I suppose why not? If the lap times are still going for you, then you kind of just go ahead and run it out of fuel. But yeah, I'm surprised you would take enough fuel to run this deep. If you're going to go halfway, why not just take half the fuel and run? Ah, there we go.
And there he goes into the pits. Slides nice and deep in there. Like he hits the pit stall nice.
Page from Wintermute.
Yeah, so far so good. to be having to take a little extra fuel than the guys that are on the 2 stops, but he is looking like he is in great shape. Aaron Parsons is going to have to he's going to have to really come up with something. I don't know if he can. Boy, in the pit's a long time though. This will be a pretty good advantage for Parsons.
Parsons, Lechmanski's going to rejoin in P4. Oh, touches the grass on the pit exit, collects it though, doesn't touch that wall. That was very fortunate. I had a chance to do that pit exit a few times, and I did touch the wall myself on the way out, so it's not the easiest pit exit to navigate.
Well, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's up to Parsons now to really hammer some laps. Lechmanski is going to be slow relative to those guys. Turning, 20s, high 19s, 20s is opening laps. That first stint, so yeah, gonna be on Parsons to really get onto the program here as Rally now all over that 4th place Lechmanski.
And going on board with Dave Rowley. 17.6 for a fast lap. That is a very, very good lap time. That's just a little bit off what we have from Matt Taylor at 17.2. So this isn't a fluke, as we spoke about from Dave Rowley. He's going to get the run on Lechmanski. Clearly with a lot less fuel than Lechmanski. Lechmanski's not going to fight him.
Yeah, these 2 stoppers due in what? Let's call it another 3 to 5 laps thereabouts. All things being equal.
All things being equal, you got to assume Parsons, Miller at least going to be 30 seconds in the pits. Lechmanski has a 14-second gap to Parsons, so Lechmanski keeps it clean. I think P1's done and dusted, but we have a lot of laps to go, and the main fight I think is still going to be between Parsons, Miller. What can John Wathan do with that one-stop strategy? Where is he going to be at compared to Miller and Parsons?
Yeah, Wathan's a bit in the mix. Good point.
Wathan's yet to pit.
Wow.
Yeah. So he's running around on the softs. He's he's on the mediums. Apologies, he's on the mediums, but he's yet to pit. He's going to stay out for another one.
Well, we had the rule for years and years. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know it had changed. Apparently the guys don't. There isn't a mandatory pit stop these days, apparently. So I think there should be, but so who knows? I don't. Maybe you can put 200 liters on board and the mediums. I don't know. Can you get a race distance out of it?
I don't think so. Quick math, like I said, I didn't do a ton of laps, but quick math on the fuel usage and the amount of liters you can fit into the tank, I don't think a one-stopper or a no-stopper works. The lap times he's running, there's not an engine limiter to turn down on the car. He's running laps fast enough that I don't think he's coasting enough to save fuel. I'm assuming he's going to stop again and maybe have some fun and put on the softs, but on the left, he's running up there in very nice P3.
Yeah, interesting.
Kevin Miller in his sights. Dave Rowley just behind. Mark DeGraw, haven't talked about him too much. He had some issues. Bobbled around the standings. He's sitting in P6. Chuck Carter, very nice run in P7. Chuck Carter looks like he pit about lap 17, so likely on a 2-stopper. Peter Burke, as we move through the field in P8, gets a little loose there. Greg Myers, P9. Matt Taylor up to 10th position, just behind Greg Myers. Taylor with another stop to come.
Another stop to come from him and likely teammate Chris Moses as well. Though Moses did stuff it full of fuel and put on the mediums.
Taylor's going to squeak by Greg on the straight. Taylor's still with a fast lap of the race, carrying the 10 kilos from his P3 finish last week.
Wow, 17 laps. So all questions will be answered here momentarily when those two stoppers come in for their final go. We'll get a sense of just where everybody's going to be running, and it's going to be a fair ball game from that point. Many positions in doubt here, it has to be said. I'd say there's quite a few differing strategies in this field. I mean, we've even seen, one stoppers on softs. So, interesting.
Yeah, looks like Olsen has pit. He's one of those guys that was using the softs and it went deep. He pit, looks about lap 25's come out and P11. So, looking at the guys in front of him that have to pit again, Matt Taylor, Peter Burke, Chuck Carter. He's if he can keep it clean, he's likely to make up quite a few positions on a few of these guys. Lechmanski, we've talked about him. He's 8 seconds off the pace of Parsons with no pits to go for Kevin, so needs to keep it clean and deal with the traffic. And Kevin Miller keeping that gap to Parsons right at 8 seconds. So that incident with Ryan Robbins, the end of that first stint, cost him some time, but he's recovered nicely and he's keeping that gap to Aaron at the moment.
Yeah, Aaron Parsons has pushed pretty well this stint. He certainly maintained better pace than he did in the first stint. And frankly, I think it's still a little touch and go. Him versus the one stopping Kevin Lechmanski. Certainly got to give the edge to Lechmanski, I think, at this point.
Yeah, especially with that pace Lechmanski was showing late in his stint on the mediums.
Yeah.
Dropping low 18s and 17s where Parsons is eking out some 17s. He's, like you said, he's pushing a very nice pace this stint, but see if he can get a quick pit stop, maybe go a little bit longer here and flip the script a little bit.
Yeah. Gaps opening up a little bit here and there now, but the battle for 11's still pretty hot. Feemster
yeah,
going for that pass. Whoa!
Good jump on board there, Feemster. Olsen didn't put up a fight. Olsen actually looked to lurch to the left. Oh!
Oh!
Feemster getting a little bit excited going to that turn 4. That is a tough off-camber downhill left where the car a little tough to get gearing downshifted, and looks like he went a little bit hard into there.
The toughest shift point on the track, no question about it.
Yep. Well, he's going to gain that position and lose just that one position. Sorry, Brad, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I did a few recon laps around here. I just decided to stick to 4th and just take whatever I can get coming out of there.
No damage for Jake. He will continue the fight. Jump back up here with
with somebody?
Oh, sorry. I jumping up here with Chuck Carter. Peter Burke just behind
nice
him.
Run. Nice run going on for Chuck Carter out there. He has kept his nose clean and the wheels on the black stuff.
So Chuck Carter just in front of Peter Burke. Chuck's 17.7 previous lap. Peter Burke 18.1. These guys seem to have similar pace, and looking at the lap times, look to be on similar strategies as well. These guys are going to be in a fight to the finish with one more pit coming here in a moment.
Yeah, Parsons in, and he has he has more or less gotten crushed here. It's
Yeah.
going to be a solid 17, 18 seconds here by Kevin.
So a 20-second pit for Parsons. He's a 16-second gap to Lechmanski with about 15 laps to go. Oh, little... Oh. That'll get your heart beat up for a moment. So Kevin Miller...
It sure will.
Kevin Miller really cut that gap in half there on that pit rotation. Now only 4 seconds, was 8 seconds before they went in. So not sure if they did some sort of flip-flop on fuel fill from the previous pit stop, but Miller gains 4 seconds in that pit rotation.
Yeah, good point. That's completely possible. You do have fill options on these cars, especially for the two-stop guys. There really is a performance advantage to not having fuel on the car, so that's another thing these guys are going to learn as the season progresses here. What kind of fuel loads to employ in combination with their strategy.
So Chuck Carter from P6 brings it in for his final stop. Burke looks like he... Did he pit or did he have a... He was just behind Carter just a bit ago, and now he's about 30 seconds behind. So he may have pit and will be coming around to rejoin that fight in just a moment.
Yeah, last pit on lap 18. I don't think he has pitted again yet.
He stays out, and that lap is going to be a 156. So that was his, you know, the guys can fly so fast into the pits here that they cross that start-finish line, and I think their in-lap looks pretty similar to their regular lap time. So yeah, Burke did pit.
Gotcha.
He's going to come out. He did lose some time. Carter's about 7 seconds off the road already through turn 4, so advantage Carter there. Miller and Parsons, let's see. Parsons 19.3 out of the pits. Miller 18.6. Miller's closing that gap slightly. We'll keep an eye on that. Wathen and Raleigh now. Wathen on the soft tire, Raleigh on the soft tire. Both have recently pits. There's a good fight. Awesome position for both these guys. Wow, P4 and P5 from Wathen and Raleigh after not the best performance last week. Raleigh out after lap 2. Wathen, I can't recall his final position, but he wasn't running this high, so very nice from Wathen and Dave.
Ooh, so we have lost Lou Mascarelli. Finally has pulled the chute, but here we see, Kevin, yet another strategy option. So Wathen stuffed the tank on the mediums, took it really deep, and decided to short fill and go for the softs here for his final stint. So that's yet a different strategy option that we're seeing.
Yeah, Wathen had dipped into the 18s on the mediums. We'll see how quickly he can pick up the pace on the softs. Maybe a little bit of a different grip level, giving a different feel to the driver. I may be a little apprehensive to do that, but might as well have some fun.
It would, I mean, it'd be one heck of a change having to drive all those laps on the mediums, having to be really consistent and careful on your laps, and now you got to put the hammer down, especially with a charging David Raleigh. Yeah,
definitely a change in mindset, and a lot of pressure now on John Wathen here in P4. He's got some guys just in front of him. Any mistake up there, he's got a podium position he's fighting for right here. Potentially, you know, anything can happen. And it does. Miller is off. Miller back to P5. Miller lost it there in turn 4. And John Wathen and Raleigh have scooted by.
Wow, Wathen challenging now for one of his best finishes ever.
Don't see any Miller damage. Car looks pretty clean. Did lose plenty of time though. He's got about a 3-second gap behind the Raleigh Wathen fight. Parsons.
That Lechmanski Parsons has, yeah,
Yeah.
that's closed up.
Exactly. 10 laps to go. Parsons running, I think, about 10 seconds off in about 5 laps. I mean, that gap has just, let's see, check Lechmanski's lap times.
Yeah, I think that's a Lechmanski mistake up in
Yeah.
front there. Something. Who knows? He could have damage.
Yeah, lap 36, Lechmanski 127.2. Go ahead and check Lechmanski's car, see if we got any wing out of shape. Front looks good. He's experiencing something. He goes a little wide there. May just be nerves, but car looks clean. That last lap certainly not.
Well, it would be a narrow escape if he does not have damage. Now can he resettle, refocus, go, okay, all right, it's 8 seconds. I just need to calm down here, keep it on track for a few laps, get back in a rhythm.
So Miller from P1 to P2 down to P5. Now Mark DeGraw all over him.
Yeah, I've got that DeGraw battle for 5th, the Wathen Rally battle for 3rd, so with laps winding down here, positions in play.
Haven't talked about him as there's been a lot of action up front. Matt Taylor quietly up into P8. Joined us late in quali, didn't get a great lap in, pit early with some problems, and it's jumped up to P8, so good run from Taylor.
Well, he sure had some miscues on the start of this race. I think the competition committee is going to be a little busy this next week.
Keep an eye on that gap up front, but yeah, Parsons about 7.5 seconds. Rally and Wathen a little over 2 seconds, and Miller's continue to lose time to that Rally Wathen duo after the off. So maybe lift the tires up a little bit, or just has some nerves.
Well, he knew that he had this great opportunity here for a great finish, so had pushed a little too hard after that stop. But it's not so easy for the chasers now either. I think with the exception of Aaron Parsons, you know, all these guys looking for these finishers, they really aren't hardly any of them used to fighting for these types of positions toward the end. Kevin Miller been up there quite a few times, yeah, but by and large, even some of these chasers, if you're John Wathen, if you're Mark DeGraw, it's still a little nervy here trying to chase down those positions late.
Yeah, I think what we've seen through, you know, almost 2 rounds so far is 98T was a killer under throttle, where this car is throwing guys off under throttle, downshifting through corners, and it's not just the mid-pack guys, you know, the Chris Moses, the Samards. All of these guys are finding it to be a tough ask so far.
Yeah, well, I mentioned it last week with the Lotus. You just had to drive the car defensively all the time because its intention was to kill you. On every steering input, the car was hoping to kill you. So, you know, you had to drive the defensively with that thing all the time. These cars like I say, they give you a lot of rope, and they want to sneak into your bedroom and then put the knife in your ribs there at a moment's notice. So. That's the difference. And you're absolutely right. Again, that'll get cleaned up. It's a tough car. I like the challenge.
Mark DeGraw, 17.3 fast lap. Kevin Miller, 17.3 fast lap. These guys looking to have very similar pace on these soft tires. DeGraw had a chance, maybe without some hiccups last week, at a chance at a podium, potentially a win with a great run, but. You know, another solid performance here, and looking to get some quality points for his single-seater team, his solo team. And that Parsons Lechmanski gap seems to have settled right in that 7.5, 8 second range. Lechmanski pulled his lap times up. After that off, he's got a 18.9, 18.6, 18.3. Just did a 17.5. Parsons doing 18s. Oh, Miller off a little bit. And him and DeGrom may have clipped wheels there as Miller was getting back on, but both drivers still on track.
That was actually a great bit of driving by DeGrom.
Yeah.
That was really cautious. Way more cautious, I think, than 90% of guys would have been. He was like, well, okay, I think, but I'm going to give it a half a second because I'm not sure. And sure enough, it saved him.
Saved them both, sure did. Great job from Mark.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually really super impressive.
Yeah, that was very nice, Mark. I got a little bit of a gap back to Olsen, but last thing you want to do with 6 laps to go is damage your car and knock it off track and deal with that as you're trying to get a top 5.
Well, you know, the reason why 90% of guys would have crashed there is because they'd say, okay, well, this guy's going to hang out wide, he made a mistake, and that, you know, there's no possible way he's going to try to get back into the groove. And I'm not saying Kevin Miller was. He may have lit it up on throttle, but nonetheless, that patience was remarkable.
Back in the field, Moses up to 11th position, Taylor 8, Gup Douglas 12th. Douglas about a second behind Moses. Chuck Carter still in P10, and Jesse Olsen with another good run with a 1-stopper in 7th position.
Yeah, Gup Douglas, another good run. I think if you're a guy like Gup Douglas, maybe even Greg Myers, and you've seen some of the problems these other drivers have had, I think they're thinking they could have gotten a little bit more out of this race, maybe. So I'm frankly a little surprised to see Douglas and Myers outside the top 10 at this point. They just have the type of consistency which would tend to advance them positions given some of the problems in front.
Yeah, Greg notorious for running clean laps, consistent races, but you know, sometimes it happens to the best. And so Miller not going to make it easy for Mark DeGraw here. The gap sticking around a second. Similar pace, so Mark is going to need to earn this overtake. That gap up front, Lechmanski Parsons still around 7.5 seconds. Rally seems to have gotten by Wathan, missed that. Apologies. Now, that may have not happened with an overtake because I would have noticed the timing. Wathan may have had a bit of a bobble. Check his laps here.
It did happen a while ago, that pass.
It did? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. But coming down to it now, just 3 or 4 laps to go, and yeah, I mean, I'm looking at that Miller-DeGraw battle there for 5th. I think, you know, if you're Kevin Miller, you're thinking that you should have a little bit of pace over Mark DeGraw. So I think it's just a matter of Kevin Miller, you know, over-driving a bit at this moment. I think if he gets that sorted here, these last few laps, he should be able to hang on for that fifth spot. But nonetheless, it's another very fine drive by Mark DeGraw. And I tell you what, if Mark does end up finishing 6th in this race, he's going to take a big jump up in championship points. He's going to have to start thinking about that championship if he finishes here in this 6th position.
Maybe find himself a teammate and, you know, look at that team championship as well as the individual drivers championship.
Why not? I mean, you know, there's no team that has, you know, seems to really want to establish early dominance, right?
Yeah, well, Parsons going to grab quite a few points for T-Brock, Dam Bam, Houston down in P14. And Lechmanski's not paired up with anybody. This would have been a formidable duo, Lechmanski and DeGraw.
Oh, yeah.
Still working on Miller here. We wind down, that Parsons gap seems to really settle at 8 seconds. Lechmanski running good laps in the 17s now.
Yeah, and a pretty nice recovery. I mean, we saw it there in front of us. I think Kevin Lechmanski's going to be okay now, assuming no lap traffic or anything. But we saw that mistake, whatever it was, could have been lap traffic. Who knows? Dropped that time and was able to regather. So it's nice to see, man. This would be an incredible win for him.
Awesome win, yeah. Wathen slowly dropping into the clutches of Miller here. Wathen running in the 18s. Miller running some 17s. So this Wathen Miller DeGraw trio could heat up here as we get to the final lap.
Yeah, it sure could, and I think it's pretty safe to say that Kevin Miller is definitely going to have pace on John Wathen. The laps are quickly winding down, yeah. Wow, fascinating race. So many quote-unquote big guns.
It's hard to keep up with all the action, huh, Brad?
Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, big guns.
Always a great opportunity for somebody else, though, and that's what I like seeing.
Yeah, awesome podium at the moment if things hold. Kevin Lechmanski, P1. First NAGP victory, barring disaster, and Dave Rowley gonna grab that third step of the podium after a brutal opening round at Laguna Seca, out on lap 2. Pretty disastrous season 31 of the 98T. I mean, I don't know if he put a lot of effort in week to week, but it was a disaster, and here he is, round 2, P3 at Interlagos. Awesome drive from David Rowley. Jump up to Kevin Lechmanski here. Got a little bit of lap traffic in front of him. With plenty of room to spare, you can take it nice and easy. Going to be starting the final lap.
Now looks like Chris Moses running in the 10th spot. He's going to make a late charge for 9th. As you watch Kevin circulate to the flag.
So Kevin Lechmanski last week, not the best qualifying. Ran a nice race, earned some points, but this week, lights out, pole position, medium tire, one-stop strategy, let some guys by using the sauce on the two-stop, didn't fight him too hard, ran his race. A couple hiccups here and there, but awesome performance. A couple more corners for Kevin Lechmanski to get his first NAGP victory. One of the only guys, I think, using the H-pattern shifter in this car as well. Quite a few guys do, but Kevin Lechmanski, not using those paddle shifters. He's got that clutch and that 8 shifter working.
Could really be helping him with the shifts on this car, the shifting.
So fantastic drive, Kevin Lechmanski, first NAGP victory. Really dominant fashion, really, with an 8-second gap to the excellent driver Aaron Parsons. Going to bring it home in P2. Will earn himself 15 more kilos of success ballast. And David Rowley, P3 on the podium. David Rowley's going to have some success ballast. How's that feel?
Nice.
John Wathen coming through P4. Awesome drive. Miller, a little bit of heartbreak, I think, tonight, but in the end, P5. DeGraw, P6. Olsen earning 7th position. Another nice performance from Jesse after good finish last week. Taylor will be interesting to see what happened to Taylor. But P8, good fight through the field. And quite a ways back now, Peter Burke, Moses Carter.
Carter just took it off, gave up the 10th spot to Chris Moses.
Oh, Moses almost gets to the line there with Peter. So yeah, Carter P11, Myers a lap down, Gup Douglas P13, Houston 14, Feemster, and then Ekman. We are joined by Kevin Lechmanski. Kevin, how did that feel for your first NAGP victory, pole position? Let some guys through early on that were on that soft tire, but you kept it fairly clean and really dominant performance on the medium one-stop strategy. Tell us about it.
Yeah, a little win and spin there. Spin and win. My foot slipped off the clutch going into that turn, and it just I didn't get my throttle blipped in time, and she just came around.
Yeah, so we were watching a battle a little bit further back. What turn did you have the issue in?
The last one, the last left-hand turn before the long straight. I forget what turn number it is.
Okay.
But
well, regardless,
I know I had about 8 seconds or so on Erin at that point, and I was kind of cruising before that. Then at that point, I'm like, oh god. So then I kind of put it back into it, and I noticed I was gaining a little bit. So I was like, all right, we're good.
yeah. Well, despite that that little hiccup, it looked like the rest of the race was completely clean. I mean, you know, the off strategy sequences, you never quite know how they're going to go. Did you get a sense, Kevin, of when things you thought you had a good chance at this win?
When they took their first pit stop, and I knew I was still on pace, if not a little bit faster on the old mediums, were like iron. They just never dropped pace. They just gained and gained and gained because the fuel burned off. And yeah, and then as soon as they pit, I knew they had to pit the next time, and I saw they were in the pits, and I think I had like 20 seconds on them. I was like, all right, I think we're good. And then I obviously spun, and yeah, super excited. I never really expected this since when I started with these guys. These guys are amazingly fast, and I was like, that win's never gonna happen. So I'm like, it's one of what I feel right now, one of the bigger achievements that I've ever achieved in sim racing. It's pretty cool.
Wow, congrats.
Yeah, we can hear it in your voice. I mean, the excitement is definitely coming through, but there's no fluke. I mean, you take P1 on the softs, you run a smart strategy on the mediums. Your lap times late in the stint were awesome, and yeah, you may have had a little bit of a bobble, but you know what? So did just about every other driver on track. So awesome performance. You're going to go to round 3 at, where are we at next week, Kevin? Do you know?
I do not.
Well, you're going to go to round 3,
coming up.
and you're going to have 20 kilos of success ballast, and you're going to have an NAGP victory under your belt. Awesome drive. Any other final words?
No. Overall, everything I was, lap down cars for the most part were good, and that's my first time I've ever been in that position. And no, I was glad. I hope everybody had a good race, and guess we'll see you next round.
All right. Well, very excited for you. Great job. And I think you'll need to move yourself down out of the channel. We don't have the power to do that.
Yep.
But awesome.
Yep.
Awesome drive.
Thanks.
Well, that was pretty exciting.
Yeah, wow. Action throughout. And then there, of course, toward the end of the race, we saw some gaps open up, but then come back together, and some very nice fights there toward the end. This is going to shake up pretty substantially some of the points on offer for this championship. Aaron Parsons, however, is going to pick up quite a few on his rivals, but at the same time, he's going to be picking up extra success winner's weight ballast. So going to be lugging around 30 kilograms, and that next race is going to be at Imola. So a fan favorite out there. We'll see how that affects him, but wow. Otherwise, pretty stunning results. I think we're going to be talking about this race for quite a while, Kevin.
Yeah, it should be fun to see the debriefs on the forum, see what people have to say, and guys will have one more week to get these cars dialed in and take another stab at it. That you said Imola, so Lechmanski the winner, Parsons P2, and almost wish we could talk to Dave Rowley because he must be feeling ecstatic with a P3 finish after pretty awful season and a really bad start at Laguna. He's got to be feeling great there in P3. So, well, Brad, it was fun. And looking forward to the Thursday night. Everybody join us Thursday night. We're going to be at Watkins Glen for some GT action. So Thursday night,
Yeah,
NAGP TV on Twitch at Watkins Glen.
yeah, really looking forward to that. Thanks again for filling in for Al. A very admirable job, even though you had to deal with me. Sorry about that, but look forward to seeing you on track on Thursday.
Likewise, Brad. Can't wait. See everybody on Thursday. Take care.